If you ever wondered why your motorcycle runs perfectly after the mechanic fixes an electrical issue, but never shows you what they actually did, here's what's really happening in those service bays. You're part of a much bigger story. Right now, while riders are paying $500 plus for diagnostic fees and computer resets, mechanics are using a secret procedure that takes 30 seconds and costs nothing. The pattern is unmistakable across every major motorcycle brand. Industry technicians are calling this the golden goose of service department profits. The data shows that 9 out of 10 electrical complaints can be resolved with a simple reset sequence built into your bike's computer system. This happened because motorcycle engineers designed user-accessible diagnostic resets for field testing, but dealers discovered they could charge premium rates for something any owner could do. We're talking about manufacturers like Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Suzuki programming reset functions into every bike, then dealers acting like these procedures require specialized training and expensive equipment. For anyone who's ever paid for computer diagnostics on their motorcycle, this revelation will change how you handle electrical issues forever. Hit subscribe now and discover how to save thousands on motorcycle repairs. But before we start, have you been paying hundreds for what might be a free 30-second fix?
How about that? How sweet is that? Totally cleared out. You can now go ride, enjoy your day, have a little bit of confidence that you actually don't have a malfunction anymore.
Number 1. The Master ECM Factory Reset. This is the motorcycle industry's most closely guarded secret, the Master ECM Factory Reset. Every single manufacturer builds this into their bikes, but dealerships would rather lose a limb than tell you about it. This is the nuclear option that wipes everything clean. All stored codes, learned values, and adaptive settings gone in an instant. What's truly shocking is how simple this reset is to perform. It requires holding specific button combinations during your bike's startup sequence, while following precise timing instructions. You don't need specialized tools, expensive diagnostic computers, or years of technical training, just your ignition key and your fingers. Why is this reset so powerful? Because it returns your ECM to factory defaults, clearing all fault codes, resetting fuel trims, throttle learning, and adaptive transmission settings in one go. It's essentially giving your motorcycle's brain a complete reboot, wiping away any corrupted data or false readings. Here's what service departments don't want you to know. Mechanics use this reset to solve those mysterious electrical problems they claim require extensive diagnosis and parts replacement. I've watched techs perform this reset, then tell customers they needed to recalibrate the entire electrical system, a service they happily charge $500 to $1,200 for. The reality: this single procedure eliminates approximately 90% of the electrical issues that shops diagnose as requiring expensive repairs. Think about that. 9 out of 10 times when your check engine light comes on or your bike has electrical gremlins, this simple reset would fix it without replacing a single part. Service departments make more profit on diagnostic fees than actual repairs, which is why they keep this reset procedure buried deep in technical manuals that customers never see. It's the perfect business model. Charge hundreds for something that costs them nothing to perform. Number 2. The ABS system. Initialization. The ABS system. Initialization reset is another goldmine for service departments. If you've ever had brake work done, you've probably heard the technician claim that your ABS module requires professional bleeding and system initialization, a procedure they insist can only be performed with specialized equipment. What they're not telling you is that manufacturers designed ABS systems with self-bleeding and initialization modes accessible right through your instrument cluster. No special tools required, just your fingers and knowing the right sequence of inputs. The activation procedure typically involves a specific sequence of brake lever pulls and button presses while the ignition is on. This triggers the automatic system reset that the dealer claims is impossible without their expensive diagnostic equipment. What's remarkable about this reset is its problem-solving scope. It clears ABS warning lights, restores proper brake feel, and eliminates those annoying false activation issues that make your lever pulse when braking normally. Essentially, it tells your ABS computer to relearn what normal braking feels like. Dealers have turned brake system diagnosis and bleeding services into a profit center, generating $200 to $400 per visit. The math is staggering. If a dealership performs just 3 of these services daily, that's potentially over $200,000 in annual revenue for something riders could reset themselves in under a minute. What makes this particularly insidious is that riders associate ABS issues with safety concerns, making them more likely to pay whatever the dealer charges. They're exploiting your desire for safe riding by charging premium rates for a simple reset procedure.
I want to show you how to reset the TPS, throttle position sensor, on your KTM 690.
Number 3. The throttle position sensor recalibration. When your motorcycle has throttle response issues, dealers are quick to diagnose a faulty throttle position sensor. Their explanation usually goes something like, your TPS sensor is malfunctioning and needs replacement plus professional calibration. The service advisor will look concerned as they explain this critical component requires specialized equipment to program after replacement. Here's what they're hiding. Every motorcycle ECM can relearn throttle position through a simple close/open throttle sequence. Manufacturers designed these systems to be adaptable because they understand that sensors and mechanical parts wear over time. The process is remarkably straightforward. With your bike running, you slowly open the throttle to 100% and back to the closed position 3 times while in diagnostic mode. This simple action teaches your ECM the new minimum and maximum values for your throttle position. This reset procedure eliminates throttle lag, improper idle speed, and those frustrating acceleration flat spots that make your bike feel sluggish. It essentially recalibrates the relationship between your throttle grip and the fuel injection system. The financial deception is staggering. New TPS sensors typically cost around $50 wholesale, but dealers charge $350 to $500 for replacement when recalibration fixes most issues. It's pure profit built on the assumption that riders don't understand how their bike's electronics work. What's most egregious is that technicians often perform this recalibration anyway after replacing the sensor, the exact same procedure you could have done yourself without replacing any parts. They're charging you for both a part you likely didn't need and a service you could have performed for free.
Park your bike after a ride, fully expecting to hit the road again after a few days or a few weeks. Now it's been 2 years and you're ready to ride again. Problem is, your bike isn't.
Number 4. The fuel system. Learning reset. Have you ever been told your motorcycle's fuel injection system needs recalibration using our $5,000 diagnostic computer? This is perhaps the most common upsell in service departments today. The service advisor will explain that modern fuel systems are too complex for simple solutions and require specialized equipment to reprogram. The hidden truth? Manufacturers programmed a fuel system reset into every bike's menu system for exactly this purpose. They understand that fuel systems need periodic recalibration as components age and fuel quality varies. That's why they built in user-accessible reset functions. Executing this reset typically involves accessing service mode through specific button combinations while the engine is running at idle. The procedure is deliberately simple because engineers intended it to be performed regularly as part of normal maintenance. The real-world applications of this reset are impressive. It fixes rough idle, poor fuel economy, and those hesitation issues that shops are quick to blame on dirty fuel injectors requiring expensive cleaning services. The reset forces your ECM to relearn fuel trim values based on current atmospheric conditions and fuel quality. The cost comparison reveals the true scam. Shops routinely charge $400 to $600 for fuel system cleaning services when this reset solves the same problems for free. The injector cleaning solutions they use cost around $15 per application, creating enormous profit margins on a service that's often unnecessary. What makes this particularly profitable for dealers is that fuel system issues are common, especially with ethanol-blended fuels and bikes that sit unused for periods of time. By keeping this reset procedure secret, they've created a recurring revenue stream from a problem that riders could solve themselves in minutes.
So what we're looking at is the ECU fault codes. I'll decipher this second one coming up now, which has got some faults, so it's not running right, and you want to diagnose what's going on. What you need to do.
Number 5. The basic ECM memory. Clear. Finally, we have the most fundamental reset that every service department uses daily. The basic ECM memory clear. When your check engine light comes on, the standard dealer line is, your bike's computer has stored error codes that require professional diagnostic equipment to clear. They'll often show you their expensive scan tool as proof of this necessity. The reality couldn't be more different. Every modern motorcycle has a built-in reset sequence accessible through the instrument panel buttons. Manufacturers included this function because they understand that temporary issues can trigger fault codes that don't require dealer intervention. The step-by-step procedure typically involves turning your key to the ON position, then holding trip reset and mode buttons simultaneously for about 8 seconds until the display flashes. That's it. No special tools, no technical expertise, just pressing buttons you already use every day. What this actually fixes is remarkable. It clears temporary fault codes, sensor learning values, and throttle position calibration errors. These are exactly the issues that most commonly trigger check engine lights and performance problems. The profit margin is where the deception becomes clear. Mechanics routinely charge $150 to $300 for this 30-second procedure that requires zero tools or expertise. They're essentially charging you to push buttons on your own motorcycle. Buttons you could have pushed yourself for free. What's particularly frustrating is that this basic reset is often all that's needed to resolve temporary electronic glitches. Think about your smartphone or computer. When something acts up, the first solution is usually to restart it. Motorcycles are no different, yet dealers have convinced riders that clearing these temporary electronic hiccups requires professional intervention. These 5 reset procedures represent just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to service department secrets. The pattern is unmistakable. Manufacturers designed user-friendly reset functions to help owners maintain their bikes. But dealerships transform these simple procedures into lucrative profit centers by keeping them hidden from customers. Modern motorcycles are essentially computers on wheels. And just like your laptop or smartphone, sometimes they just need a restart to function properly. You don't need an engineering degree or expensive diagnostic equipment. You just need to know which buttons to push and when. The financial impact of these hidden resets is staggering. The average rider spends between $500 to $1,500 annually on diagnostic services and fixes that could be addressed with these simple resets. Multiply that across millions of motorcycles worldwide, and you're looking at billions in unnecessary service charges. What's truly disappointing is how this secrecy damages the relationship between riders and dealerships. Service departments are exploiting the knowledge gap between what they know and what they tell customers. They're counting on riders trusting them as experts, while deliberately withholding information that would empower owners to solve problems themselves. But knowledge is power, and now you understand what's really happening when you bring your bike in for that mysterious electrical issue. You're equipped with the same reset procedures that technicians use daily, but never teach customers. The next time your check engine light comes on or your bike doesn't feel quite right, try these resets before heading to the dealer. You might be surprised how often a simple reset solves the problem, saving you hundreds in unnecessary diagnostic fees and parts replacements. The motorcycle industry is changing, and informed riders are beginning to demand transparency. Dealers can no longer hide behind technical jargon and expensive diagnostic equipment when these simple solutions are becoming common knowledge. The luxury of dealer exclusivity is fading as riders share these reset procedures online. The service department's golden goose of diagnostic profits is at risk, and they're scrambling to find new ways to maintain those margins. But an informed community of riders is more powerful than any service department strategy. What we're witnessing is a fundamental shift in the power dynamic between motorcycle owners and dealers. For decades, dealers controlled access to technical information, but the internet has democratized this knowledge. Riders are taking back control of their motorcycle's maintenance and demanding fair treatment from service departments. This revolution in motorcycle maintenance mirrors what happened in the car industry years ago. As vehicle electronics became more complex, dealerships initially monopolized diagnostic capabilities. But eventually, that information became widely available, forcing car dealers to compete on service quality rather than information asymmetry. The same transformation is now happening with motorcycles. Forward-thinking dealers are already adapting, offering more transparent pricing and focusing on complex repairs that truly require their expertise. Others continue clinging to outdated business models built on keeping riders in the dark. The future of motorcycle maintenance isn't about mystifying electronics or charging premium rates for simple procedures. It's about empowering riders with the knowledge and tools to maintain their own bikes. The best mechanics will become partners in your riding experience rather than gatekeepers of basic reset procedures. So what's the truth about your motorcycle's electronic issues? In most cases, they're simple software glitches that require nothing more than these reset procedures to resolve. No expensive parts, no complex diagnostics, just a few button presses that dealers have transformed into profit centers by keeping them secret. The motorcycle industry is at a crossroads. As these reset procedures become common knowledge, dealers must evolve or face a reckoning from riders tired of paying hundreds for procedures they could perform themselves. The days of the $500 button press are numbered, and a new era of rider empowerment is beginning. Today's revelations about these 5 critical reset procedures are just the beginning. There are dozens more manufacturer-designed maintenance shortcuts that dealers have transformed into profit centers by keeping them hidden from riders. This isn't about demonizing all dealerships. Many honest technicians are frustrated by these practices too. It's about creating transparency in an industry that has profited from obscurity for too long. The luxury landscape of motorcycle maintenance is shifting dramatically. Riders now have access to the same information that was once dealer exclusive. The brands that embrace this transparency will thrive, while those clinging to outdated secrecy will lose customer trust. Have we been played by the motorcycle industry all along? Which reset will you try first? And what other secrets do you think are being kept from riders? Subscribe now, because next week, we're exposing how dealers manipulate service intervals to double your maintenance costs. The truth about your motorcycle is just beginning to emerge.